Hello friends, hope you are well and I hope you had a great week so far. Welcome! This week we have a bunch of great news for you. It's non-stop tech news. It's a non-stop cycle and it just keeps on giving. So yes, very fun indeed and maybe even a bit crazy. After all, it's Techtober for the tech industry, and so this month has been filled with massive announcements like AMD's new Zen 3 CPUs putting nails in Intel's coffin coming November 5th, Nvidia had to delay the RTX 3070, and of course Sony dropped a PlayStation 5 ASMR teardown video. Absolute tech gold right there. But while big tech overseas is recreating Berlin in the 1940s with all their tech bombshells, let's look towards our golden island. Welcome to this week's Daily Report Tech and Telco news from all around Australia and some international tidbits. Make sure to like this video if you did and subscribe if you'd like to see more. So today we have NBN employee pay in question, iSelect find the digital budget, NBN code to build more towers, and on the international side we have some details of the new AMD Ryzen Zen 3 CPUs. Thanks for jumping in, let's roll the intro. NBN Co has had their expenses scrutinized this week. The Sydney Morning Herald has revealed that 850 NBN Co employees are paid above $200,000 per year and that more than 3/4 of its workforce are earning six-figure salaries. Well done, I suppose. The average annual salary in Australia is around $89,000 per year, and that's really depending on which Google link you click on, and the median salary is around $48,000. Now obviously NBN Co is a large and technical infrastructure project and it requires a large pool of highly skilled individuals, and they should be paid accordingly. In fact, to attract talent, experience and the right people into a project like this, the company has to incentivize their employees with money. After all, many work for just that reason. Now there's also a smaller pool of 110 employees who are paid between $300,000 and $400,000, and 34 receive base salaries above $400,000 before bonuses. Like any other organization, the higher you go, the higher the pay. So Stephen Drew's package is in the millions per year plus incentives. On the other hand, Scotty from marketing gets $500,000 to run the country, plus the lodge, plus Kirbilly house, a prime ministerial limousine, and even an official aircraft. Not to keep, of course, but nonetheless some extra bits and pieces. So whose job is actually harder? You let me know below. So as NBN Co borrows more to fix its government mistakes, made 800 people redundant, touting they are not in a build mode anymore and now they're upgrading, and then paid out millions in bonuses during a recession not seen since the 1900s. None of the above is a surprise to me, and it shouldn't be to you either. It's a well-paying job and requires plenty of technical experience. There are many other jobs that pay similarly and don't even require the same amount of experience and knowledge. But without getting into too much of that, what I found really funny is their entertainment spend. During the peak of COVID-19, and get ready for this, they spent $265,000 between February and June this year, all while millions of Australians were unable to travel, socialize in groups, or go to restaurants, cafes, bars, pubs, and so on. I don't care how much people are paid. I don't care how much bonuses they get paid. If that's what it takes to get the internet to my house so I can watch the latest episode of Friends on Netflix without buffering, then hell, let them have at it. What shits me is how they managed to drop $265K on entertainment in 5 months at the peak of the pandemic. That, my friends, took dedication and just shows how skilled the NBN Co teams are. Maybe it's just the cost of subscription to Zoom. Let me know your thoughts below. Next up we have iSelect. I'd like to start off that personally I like to do my own research when choosing a provider of a service. Same with buying a product, reading and watching reviews from people that I feel are in the same headspace or place as me. It gives me clarity to make up my own mind and decide what's best for my situation. However, there are many services out there that do the thinking for you, especially insurance, utilities, phone and internet services, and so on. We all remember the Meerkat ad after all. Now, I appreciate the service idea, and I think it's actually quite great. Less legwork for you and me. However, in the back of my mind, where I file away all my conspiracy theories that I like to read from time to time to imagine a James Bond-like world, I always imagine how easy it would be to monetize that kind of service by putting certain brands and providers first on the list for a small fee. Now, the case against iSelect is not as straight cut as you would think, and it's not about taking bribes. Nonetheless, they done goofed it for sure. In April 2019, the ACCC brought a case against iSelect, and this week, the final verdict has come in. iSelect has been fined $8.5 million in penalties for making false and misleading representations about its electricity comparison service. So what happened? Well, iSelect's algorithm had messed up pretty badly. Between March 2017 and November 2019, thousands of customers were offered plans with energy companies that misrepresented the actual price. They were quoting less than the actual cost over time. The real cost of the plans was almost $140 more per 3 months, meaning that some plans shown would have been cheaper than the ones at the top of the list, but because of this error they seemed cheaper and therefore people would have chosen it. And as always, ACCC Chairman Rod Sims had plenty to say. iSelect was not upfront with consumers that it wasn't comparing all plans offered by its partner retailers. In fact, about 38% of people who compared electricity plans with iSelect at the time may have found a cheaper plan if they had shopped around or used the government's comparison site Energy Made Easy. iSelect received commissions from the retailers when those customers selected a plan via the iSelect website or call center. The algorithm of these websites are certainly powerful and complex, and it's probably not easy to maintain. However, I am glad the ACCC is out there defending Australians. I would be concerned if I wasn't seeing all these court cases actually happening, because you know what? No one is perfect. If you had recently used iSelect to change providers, I highly recommend you check your plan against other websites. Let's move on to our next story. So as you may all know, the budget dropped and it's a bit of an enigma, a very closely guarded secret, and as always, the media manages to spin this into a winners and losers sitcom. Fortunately, generally speaking, with the way things are, we're all pretty screwed for the next few years. In any case, I would like to highlight some of the digital aspects of the budget. Overall, it's IT upgrades for everyone. And I have also put some links below for more detailed summaries and the government's official budget page. So Service Australia gets $116 million to upgrade the Medicare payment system and to rebuild MyGov, or at least upgrade in some way, shape or form, and $500 million to bring Centrelink's IT infrastructure into at least this decade. The Electrical Commission will get $97 million to replace their decades-old IT infrastructure. I think it's 30 years old or something. And a cool $35 million is buying the government a new ERP system. I think custom made probably. The Department of Agriculture, Water and Environment gets $222 million for their IT upgrades. The Department of Education, Skills and Employment gets $91 for a new CRM. Literally, that's what it is, but in any case, $16 million will go to managing security or critical national technologies. Around $39 million will go to the Office of the National Data Commissioners to help with public data sharing, because, you know, we like to share our data. All these amounts are over multiple years and not a lump sum, so this should keep all government contracts and tenders going strong for a few years now. The government IT sector will be very busy for the next few years, and I'm actually quite excited for these upgrades. Generally speaking, systems nowadays have moved into a more cloud-based deployment, meaning upgrades are easy to do and software is much more agile, actually easier to use. Maybe not easier to use, but faster in general. All in all, I expect to see a significant improvement of productivity as antiquated systems that have been stitched together over the last few years will end up being retired for a less siloed approach. More integrations, really, more APIs. Let me know your thoughts below. I'm sure a lot of you are in those industries. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Okay, next up, let's swing back around to NBN Co, and it's actually good news. Sort of. If you have been following this channel for a while, I try to bring good news, but the more details I read into, the more caveats seem to detract from those good news. Well, the biggest losers out of the recent NBN upgrade announcement were wireless customers, with just a footnote saying upgrades are coming, with no details. Nonetheless, the move this week to deploy more wireless towers is absolutely welcome. NBN Co has started to slowly bring new towers online. However, these towers are dedicated to upload only, and that is due to upload cuts earlier this year, which caused upload speed complaints on social media to skyrocket. Unlike the speeds. Anyway, obviously in today's global situation, working from home is not all about downloads. Sometimes you have to send data out to your employer to prove to them you're actually working and not browsing Reddit all day. The current speeds have been as low as 10 megabits a second upload, and that's not bad for browsing the web, watching movies. The problem is with more than 2 devices jumping on that connection, and as soon as you start uploading a big file, the airways fog up. That's not to say quality of service settings on your router can help, because in situations like this, they actually can. Many people don't tend to dig into their modem's settings to try and set things up to match up their connections. And so, to be honest, they really shouldn't have to. But if you'd like to see a video about how to set up QoS on a modem, let me know in the comments below. In any case, many Whirlpool users have been reporting their upload speeds have been going up, nearing 20 megabits a second, which is great news. However, this will have very little bearing on download speeds for now. Let me know below if you have noticed a speed increase in your upload in the last month or so. It's time again, time to put on your hazmat suit on and step outside. It's time for International Tidbits, brought to you by me in sponsorship with me, so big thanks to me. Make sure to tap that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. So AMD, this week they have done what hasn't been done in 14 years. They have outmatched and outpaced Intel. The challenge was set with Zen 1. The competition hit its peak with Zen 2, and the final blow for Intel was Zen 3 on Friday. Unfortunately for Intel, they have fallen behind drastically. They lost a lot of enthusiasts and alienated the gaming community, and their 14nm CPUs have been surpassed by AMD and TSMC's 7nm process, and AMD is already onto the 5nm one, whereas Intel still hasn't been able to master 7. I know it's not the best measurement of process, but it's certainly a way to see progress and the evolution of CPUs. From AMD's presentation, and if it ends up being true, they have managed to keep the same TDP in this previous generation with an uplift of nearly 20%, finally beating Intel's current lineup of CPUs by a fairly large margin. So let's talk details. AMD's improved 7nm plus CPU architecture for Zen 3, the release date is the 5th of November. Lisa Su has promised plenty stock will be available worldwide, but I have my doubts. Starting at 420 Australian dollars, we have the AMD Ryzen 5 5600X, then the Ryzen 7 5800X, $630 for that one, Ryzen 9 5900X at 760 Australian dollars, and finally the top beast, Ryzen 9 5950X at 1,100 Australian dollars. But do expect the price to change a little bit, but it's great to see it starting at around $400, and expect new Zen 3 products in the lower end below that 400 mark in the future. They haven't announced anything yet, but we should know soon. And AMD also had the audacity to, well earned, to raise their prices. They'll be making up their margin this generation. I can't blame them for that, nor be mad. They have certainly earned it this time around. The underdog has made it to the top, but perfection comes at a cost. Apparently, Battlefield 5 is still faster on the Intel CPUs by 3%, and AMD still hasn't cracked the single core frequency speeds of 5 GHz. But no matter how you look at it, the first time in 14 years, AMD is back on top, and I estimate it to be like this for at least another 2 years before Intel comes around with something better and actually brings back the crowds and the people around their brand. It seems to be quite important. AMD is certainly playing that gamer crowd. And now there are rumors that since they are flying high, AMD will buy Signup, who developed highly flexible and adaptive processing platforms. Actually, the company invented the field programmable gate array used in CPUs, the programmable system on chips, and the adaptive compute acceleration platform. It is the semiconductor company that created the first fabless manufacturing model. They've been around for 36 years. Now, Xilinx products are used across many industries and technologies, including the data centers, wired and wireless communication, AI, ML, automotive, industrial, and consumer, even aerospace and defense, and broadcast and pro AV. All this for a sweet $30 billion. Well, we'll see what happens. Let me know below if you'll be clicking buy now on the Zen 3 lineup as soon as it is live. I'm sure to bring you some actual reviews of those CPUs, because hell yeah, I'm gonna be buying them. And on that note, we have to end today's episode. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to tap the like button if you did, and subscribe to support the channel. It really means a lot, and looks like we are a few hundred away from 10,000. What a bloody milestone. So big thanks to those who already subscribed and supporting Aussie tech content on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and bye!